Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anytime you get to watch this. This is Jojo of the Immense Media. Today we're going to talk about Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is not the same country that it was some years back. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, we are witnessing one of the most fascinating transformation in West Africa, and it is happening so fast. From agriculture to security, to financial infrastructure, and to road networks. In this video, let's dive into 5 major developments which is changing Burkina Faso and which happens to be some of the things that other African countries could emulate. Let's first look into agriculture, the foundation of any strong nation. Now, when Traoré came into power, he made things very clear. He made it very, very clear. We can't talk about independence when we can't feed ourselves. Very clear, precise, concise, straight to the point. That is what he said. Burkina Faso launched a massive agricultural program, distributing tractors, seeds, and fertilizers directly to farmers, especially in the rural areas. The goal isn't just food security, it's food sovereignty, meaning Burkinabe people control what they grow and how they feed themselves. It is working. We've seen thousands of hectares cultivated this year alone, with the government pushing for modern irrigation systems and community cooperatives. This is the kind of leadership that understands that real power begins from the soil. Now, from here, let's also look into national security and defense. Burkina Faso has faced years of threat, but under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, there's been a clear shift in strategy. Instead of depending entirely on foreign troops, he's built up national forces and introduced the volunteers for the defense of the homeland. Citizens trained and equipped to defend their community. That sense of unity, soldiers and civilians working together, has restored pride and purpose across the nation. It is not perfect, but people now feel like they have a stake in defending their country, and they feel like they have a purpose once again to defend their country, and that is very powerful. Now, the point number 3 here is that let's look into gold refinery and resource control. Now, this blew my mind. Burkina Faso has officially opened its own first state-owned refinery. This is a game changer. They refine their own gold on their own soil. Gold is dug and it is refined in Burkina Faso. This actually blew my mind because gold, we all know the wealth of gold and what it brings into a country's economy. This is so fascinating. Now, let's look into that. For decades, African countries have exported raw gold only for it to be refined abroad and sold back at 10 times the value. Traoré said enough. This refinery comprises over 200 kilograms of gold per day, giving Burkina Faso control over its own resources, pricing, and export. That's not smart economy, it's sovereignty in action. Imagine if more African countries refine their own gold, oil, minerals before exporting them. That's when real wealth stays home. And the 4th one, let's look into the financial independence and social economy. It's interesting how Captain Ibrahim Traoré has been strategically taking things from one step to the other. He has been very intentional. Very intentional in things that he does. If you look at the economy before he took power, the economy was growing just at the rate, I think 1.9 to 2.2 per year. The GDP was not really growing the way it ought to grow, but now we can attest to it that it is going beyond 3.7, getting into 4% when it comes to the growth of economy. At the same time, people feel like they belong. People feel at home. Yes, we could say that there's been threat in the northern part of Burkina Faso, but that is not stopping Captain Ibrahim Traoré from pushing the country from where it was to where it is supposed to be. This is what fascinates me, and at the same time, it blows my mind. Now, let's talk about money, because Traoré's vision is about breaking the old system that held Africa and made Burkina Faso dependent on the West. That is his aim. All what he's trying to do is to break the hold of the power that has always held Burkina Faso, that's made it, in as much as it has attained what we may call independent, it still depends on the West. He's pushed for more control over national finances, transparency in mining revenues, and stronger support for small-scale industries. There's also talk of regional cooperation with other West African countries looking to move beyond colonial era currency system. Now, this is what he said: we can't build Africa's future on financial systems that were built to control Africa's past. We can't do that, whether you believe it or not. This is a bold statement, and it got most of the African youth looking closely as to what is happening, and we can attest to it. His style is literally resonating very well with most parts of Africa. His style, and his talk of the town. Everybody's talking about him. Captain Ibrahim Traoré isn't an ordinary cool person who just staged cool. He came in as a leader to take the country from the tatters and from the gutters where it has been losing its reputation, losing its dignity, to a place where it gains its sovereignty, its dignity, its integrity, and its respect. You cannot beat that. Lastly, we can't ignore the progress in infrastructure and social development. Let's look into this one as well. Roads, bridges, schools, and new renewable energy projects are being prioritized, not for show, but for connection. Traoré has focused on decentralization, making sure rural areas benefit just as much as urban centers. It is slow, but it is happening, and for most Burkinabes, this is the first time they are seeing leadership that is focused on fairness and quality in development. You can't really go against this one, can you? If you look at what Captain Ibrahim Traoré is doing, as I said, it is worth more than emulating. So when people talk about the rise of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, it is not just about politics, it's about purpose. It's about purpose, not just about politics. Whether you agree with all the methods or not, one thing is clear: he's brought back belief. Believe in self-reliance, in Africa's strength, and in a future built by Africans and for Africans. And that, my friend, is powerful. Let me know what you think. Is Burkina Faso on right track with Captain Ibrahim Traoré? Drop your comment, your thoughts in the comment box. I'm the Immense of the Immense Media, and this is the Africa they never show you.